You'll never guess who I bumped into. Mr. Often Imitated, Never Duplicated, Steve Cofield. What's up, Steve?
Oh yeah, big timer, big time media guy. Why are you doing this interview, seriously?
You know,
I am no Mauro Ranallo. I do not deserve to be on camera.
what are you trying to say about Morrow?
That he's a TV guy. I'm not a TV guy.
Oh, okay.
Seriously.
Well, I mean, you're probably...
The exposure on CBS, he's a big time talent.
Are you going to let me ask a question, or are you going to keep talking while I'm talking?
You can go ahead.
Let me ask you, you're one of the big media members on the mainstream level who covers the sport of mixed martial arts. Mm-hmm. What first attracted you to the sport?
Honestly, I figured it was something good to make money at eventually. Seriously, from a media standpoint, like 6 years ago we were doing radio here, and I'd been doing radio for a while. And you could see it's going to be popularity around this thing. And no one else was covering it. I mean, I'm amazed radio-wise. Who covers it, really? So we're still one of the only stations, ESPN Radio 1100 here in Vegas, that covers it. I thought it was a good opportunity to develop a niche, and I don't like hockey, and I don't like tennis, and I don't like golf, and those are the other niche sports or extreme sports. This is cool. And you know what? And I love boxing, so to me it was just another extension of boxing, a different type of boxing.
It's actually the first time I've heard someone refer to hockey as an extreme sport.
No, I don't mean, I meant actual extreme sports. Okay. No, the niche sports are hockey, golf, tennis, and you'll see people who are insiders, and you're like, man, are they really that good at it? And I didn't see a whole lot of media covering MMA. Plus, the other thing is, we're here in Vegas. It's UFC town, and this is a fight town, so you got to cover fighting. And you're talking about drawing 9,000 to 12,000 people to events. Now 14,000. It's our pro sport. Outside of UNLV, this is our biggest draw in town.
Really? You would classify that? I mean, Dana White said on the Ultimate Fighter show, this is his town, right?
He did say that. I was a little insulted. I thought it was my town. That's all right. It's a joke. No, but it is our pro sport. That and boxing are our pro sports, and there's immense interest here, so why not?
You know, I'm actually quite envious of you, because you get to talk to Dana, you get to talk to the main UFC guys, they give you the access. But I think you're doing a good job in terms of representing the internet world and asking the questions that we all like. So for that, I give you props.
Well, thank you. I'm a huge fan of blogging. As you know, I'm now doing I've been blogging for a while. I'm certainly not on your level. You're tremendous. And I can't do the volume that a lot of you guys do. But, this is another radio thing we do all the time. I don't understand the animosity between the mainstream traditional media and the bloggers. So I'm not young anymore. I once was, and I always wanted to get into it. And hey, if this is a way to get into the media, why not? Plus, it's, you can say anything you want for the most part, within reason. You can attack a lot more. You can be more critical. There aren't bosses, so that's kind of cool. And your creativity's not quelled. So I love the blogging world. I think it's tremendous. I was talking to you off camera about Bill Simmons. His war now with Rick Riley, I think, is great. And this kind of goes back to when I first started doing radio. I would hear guys on radio back in the New York area like Mike and the Mad Dog, and was I envious? Absolutely. Once I got into the business and I heard the radio they were doing, I thought a lot of it was really lazy. So I think bloggers are driving the print business to get better or go out of business. And here's the other thing, a lot of radio guys now pretty much steal from the blogs.
There's a guy up in Oregon that I heard likes to steal from blogs. You familiar with him?
I don't know who he is. Is that John Canzano, or that's the only Oregon guy I know?
They call him Shrootbag online.
Well, he's not in Oregon anymore.
Oh, he's not. He moved?
He's in Bristol. That's Colin Cowherd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought he still does a show in Oregon.
No, he does it out of Bristol. He's a Bristol guy. He's our morning host nationally, so I'm not going to rip on him. No, but Colin's one of those guys. Colin, I think, skews on the younger side, but for some reason he had it out early on for like the Big Leads, a really cool site that I like, and he did a thing a year ago to kind of shut him down just to show his power, and it's silly, and it's, like I said, Rick Riley and Bill Simmons is going to be this great play between the two. They both work for ESPN. I don't understand the animosity, but hey, whatever. I guess when people feel like they're threatened and they don't want to change, then attack and try to disparage. I'll tell you that my show that I did, and it sucked the whole time. My shows all have blown, but my shows, honestly, from 97 to 2008 are totally different. You got to change.
All right. Well, I hear you have a new gig. There's some more money coming into the Cofield bank account. Tell us about that.
Millions. I actually just crossed $1 million a year, so thank you. No, we're doing blogging up on Yahoo, which is a cool deal.
You say we. Is this like a group effort, or you just refer to yourself as a we?
I never want to give myself credit, so I'm trying to. I'm doing blogging for Yahoo, and it's part of their commitment. They're the. I really think they're in front of everyone on MMA. They took the chance. Obviously, they know it can make money, so I'm happy. I'm happy to be on board there. They get it, and they pretty much allow most content. A lot of the same stuff I'm doing. They want cutting edge. The guy who runs all the blogs is one of the original bloggers, Jamie Mottram. He's awesome. Mr. Irrelevant, and you couldn't learn from a better guy. And he's younger than me, and I admit I know this much about blogging. These guys are blogging experts, so I'm fired up.
All right. Well, let me quickly ask you about the business. Enough about yourself here.
Exactly.
July 19th is a huge day in the sport of mixed martial arts because obviously there was the Affliction show, and now the UFC is countering with Anderson Silva making his light heavyweight debut against James Irvin, of all people. What did you think of the UFC's decision to actually counter a pay-per-view that I thought wasn't even going to do so well to begin with? Nothing against those guys. I just didn't think enough people knew about it. Your thoughts?
I think it's typical UFC. That's not saying it's a bad thing. They're competitive, and they take things personally, and you saw what happened with the Affliction T-shirts and wear and the ban on that stuff, and they take it as an insult that this company is going to try to come in and kind of capitalize on what they've built over the years. So they're going to try to bury them. That card is good for hardcore fans. This is a bad step, though, for Affliction, because the casual fan who maybe they could have hooked, I don't think there's any way they're going to pay whatever it is, $40, $50 for the pay-per-view. I want to see it. I was going to go and cover it. We're here in Vegas. I'll probably wind up covering the Ultimate Fight Night 14. I think that's a good card. While I'm at it, we should say this about bloggers.
Okay.
No, seriously, and about MMA people, because already on the Yahoo blog I see this. Like, no card is ever good anymore. Like, every card is not going to be completely loaded. It's funny, the hardcore MMA fans, they were the original guys out there, and they're never satisfied with cards. Like, there's not going to be, every card is not going to have loaded with superstars. I think the Affliction card is good, and I think for the speed they put together, with which they put together the Ultimate Fight Night card, I think it's a pretty good card. You know what? I'm intrigued by the James Irvin Silva fight. Maybe Anderson Silva destroys him. I'll tell you what, James Irvin though, and he's a one-trick pony, but he's a big one-trick pony. No, sexual pun intended there, but he's a big dude, and stepping up against him is going to be a test. And the rest of that card is very solid.
Why do you think MMA fans in particular are so negative when it comes to cards? Because if you look at boxing cards, the big pay-per-views are usually one-fight cards. Here we get at least 4 or 5 very intriguing fights with people that we know, yet never happy. Why do you think that is?
I think it's just the nature of the beast. It's a more on-edge audience, and believe me, I'm a more on-edge media guy, so I like to bitch and moan a lot too, but I think you have to look at the big picture. Like you said, even if there's only 4 or 5 good fights that turn out to be good fights on the card, so what? That's still a pretty deep card, and I think we've seen a lot of them that have had 7, 8 good fights. And if the fight turns out to be a bad fight, you move on. They happen in boxing, and I love boxing, but it happens a lot in boxing, and it happens with the main event way too often.
All right, let me run off some quick hits for you here, okay? CBS Elite XC, they've got a second show coming up July 26th. Will they make it to a third show?
Yes. Definitely. Why wouldn't they?
XFL theory where it bombs on the second time out.
I don't think so. I think they're going to build audience. They already did. They already had tremendous ratings the first time around. Did they not get mainstream media coverage? That's one thing that would, if I were UFC, would irk me, is that my product is better. I've been doing this for the longest time, and we have never been looked at as legit. And that got a lot of coverage. Some of it was negative, but most of it was positive. I think they're around. Unless they have money issues, and I don't know what their breakdown is with CBS. Sure. Is their fighter stable big enough to do one every 2 months? A little shaky on that. But yeah, I think they're going to be around.
All right, and by the way, these are quick hits, all right? So no dissertations here. Kimbo Slice, is he for real?
Smart ass. No, I don't think he is. I thought he had potential. I think he's for real maybe 5 or 7 fights down the road if he fights low-level guys, but that was horrendous. James Thompson, not good. And James Thompson schooled him on the ground. I don't think he tapped out, but there are many fights that they stop in that situation, and that was a bad performance. He has a long way to go, and unfortunately he doesn't have the time. They can't afford it. And Brett Rogers, even though Rogers is a ground guy, Rogers is as good, at least as good stand-up, and I guarantee he's better conditioned. That was the biggest thing with Kimbo. He was completely gassed.
Again, quick hits here, all right? Randy Couture, are we going to be seeing him fight in 2008?
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, I think he'll be fighting as long as Fedor beats Tim Sylvia. I think he'll fight for Affliction or an HD Net Affliction tandem.
Final question: is Patricia McCullough schlagging Tim Sylvia?
I don't know.
Come on.
You had an interview. She denied it.
But what do you think?
I already put it up on the blog. Yes, I do. Are they doing it today? I have no idea. Were they doing it when I spoke to people 4 days ago? That's what I heard. But who knows? I'm not in the bedroom with him. Thank God. And Tim's not going to let me in there because Tim Sylvia's not a big fan of mine.
Really? Why not?
Just an aggressive interview style. I think he feels like he gets disrespected. We did a show, like I said, for a long time with a guy named the Sports Pig, big heavy guy, and he was even more aggressive than I am. And Tim actually on the air threatened to get up and slap him in his face. So, not a big fan of ours.
All right, well, I am certainly a big fan of this guy. ESPN Radio 1100 right here in Las Vegas. His name is Steve Cofield, does a great show, and he was kind enough to have me on recently. Also, yahoo.com, he runs a great sports blog out there. Steve, keep living the dream, baby.
Can I talk about myself more, please?
No.
That was a ridiculous interview. Thank you.